Hi, this is Ebony, and welcome to another episode of Workforce Whispers with Lauren and Ebony. So, Lauren, our topic for today, whew, this is a good one, actually, and positive. And so it's called Tips for Someone Starting a New Office Job. Hey, folks, as the title says, I'm starting a new office job. I'm wondering if folks have anecdotal evidence about work in general or office specific advice. I'm pretty confident, competent, and thoughtful for the most part. Thanks for your input. I love this one. Tell me what you love about it.
I love that this person is thinking about this. How many times do we have new hires that come in, expect to be trained and onboarded, and they're like, tell me everything I need to know. I'm going to sit here with my hands crossed. I love the initiative that this question is bringing up. And I love that we get to talk about it because it's all of the things that we wish that other people would do when they start working at companies, and maybe things that maybe we wish we had done when we were starting. I think the first thing is be yourself, but be the most professional version of yourself. I think a lot of people come in with this like overinflated aggrandizement of their image, like trying to show off or impress people. And when you make connections, it's you being you at your best level. So I would say first things first, like observe the dynamics, observe the culture, observe who does what and where, and ask questions. So find a buddy if you haven't been assigned one. It might be someone at your level, it might be like a supervisor, but someone that you can go to ask those critical questions on how things work. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to have to tell someone 4 times how to make a photocopy, or, back in the day when you had to send fax machines or things of that nature. But when you start, get a notebook, take notes of all of these like day-to-day operational things, because when you pay attention to this, it shows that you care, that you're organized, and that you're thoughtful. You said you were thoughtful. This is a way of demonstrating it. And if you want to go up another level, I would suggest bringing some sort of sweet, gluten-free and non-dairy and non-soy, whatever it is, and leave it in the lunchroom with a nice little card of like, really happy to join the team. Here's something, to sweeten your day. A nice gesture like that just says, hey, I'm here. I care. Stop by, say hi.
Okay. And the only thing I would add to that is your energy leadership needs a home. And so I'd set an intention for the first 90 days every day before you walk into the office. What do you want to get from this day? One, it's going to align you with your own internal motivation. But two, it gives your energy a place to anchor itself as you navigate through your workday. I would also begin to think about what does your network look like? How often should you be touching base with your boss? And these are questions you can ask and say, hey, who are the people that are important for me to get my actual projects done, right? Mm-hmm. Because they may be teams that are tangential to you, who you should begin to build relationships with, so that it can be smoother once you are fully trained up and you're beyond that forming, storming, norming stage, and you really can get into performing and figuring out that early on, because you don't want to annoy somebody who you find out is a key advocate that you need 90 days later. And if you could ask those questions up front, I would go ahead and do that. The other thing that I'll often suggest to clients to do is pick the date that you're going to leave on your first day of work. May not be, it could be leave the position. And when that date comes, revalidate it. It could be annually, it could be in 3 years, but say like, am I still as happy here as I was in the beginning when I got offered the role? And if I'm not, can you have a conversation with your manager and begin to talk about that? I remember a manager that I had, and I just relocated cities. And on my first 2 or 3 days in the office, he said, you can leave anytime you want. You just start a business unit because we paid to relocate you. But if you decide that you're tired of this job, you can leave anytime you want, and I'll help you get another job in our group. And there were 1,200 people in our group. So that's a lot of other jobs for me to begin to look at. And you know what? That was always in the back of my head, but it was also super helpful. It took me 14 months before I was like, hey, I think I'm ready. He goes, great. I thought you were leaving 3 months, honestly. And so having those kind of conversations can be helpful in your own success as you're kind of navigating that startup first 90-day phase.
Yeah. I wish I had that piece of advice when I started my first job because I stayed for 11 years and it was not a good fit. Not a good fit, but lesson learned.
So don't outstay your own personal time in the role. And then find your energy leadership every day so that you can have a home for it and anchor
Yeah.
you the day and then also into the position.
So be intentional, be thoughtful, be respectful.
And bring some goodies into the office. So I thank you. If you have any tips or questions that you have for us, feel free to slip into one of our DMs. And we would love to answer your question on another Workforce Whisperers episode. And thanks for listening.